Hi people and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew. It's Chili here from Live Listener Race and I'm joined today by half of 1137. That's right, I am here with Logan. How are you today, Logan?
I'm doing pretty fine. How about you?
Doing well, thanks for asking. It's fantastic that we finally managed a catch up, I guess. It's been long overdue with all the reviews that we've been putting out and all the albums that you have also been putting out. Absolutely incredible work by you lads. So we're finally here. We're finally chatting, and we have a lot to discuss when it comes to your band. You know, you guys got a rich history when it comes to this channel.
Oh yeah, we definitely started from ground zero.
Yes, yes, way back in the day. For people who are new to our channel, anyway, 1137 actually reached out to us and said, "Can you review our album?" And this is going back some time. This is Jive Highs, isn't it? That was the first album I reviewed from you guys.
I believe so. And you touched up a little bit on the volume two in that review,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it was Jivey Highs is what we reached out to you for.
Yeah, and I'm trying to. I mean, I'm looking over this on the. Sorry, guys, if you're wondering what I'm looking at here, it's their YouTube channel here, just to get the reference points. But because you've got a lot of albums, but is Jive Highs the first one you released, or was it The Void?
The Void was the first one that we released. It kind of the bones of 1137, so to speak. It's where we started. You can find our very first album. It's called The Void Volume One.
Hmm.
By
Yeah.
far our not our best piece of work. You can tell we didn't really know much. We didn't have a whole lot of experience, but the more you listen, the more you follow up with our albums and all of our music that we make, the more you can tell that we're getting more and more experienced in creating music.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's an interesting mix when you're going from the Void Volume One, and particularly moving forward with your projects, which we will discuss as well. I managed to listen to the Void, I think, when I was doing the review on Volume Three, and it's rather leaps and bounds. You know what you're doing back in the early days. When you're looking back at your earliest works here, the Void, what would you say? What was your inspiration, I guess, when you were leaning into these works?
Well, David kind of approached us with the idea. He was because he really likes music and
Hmm.
he always been a big fan of music, and he was like, he one day he just asked me, he was like, "What do you think about creating music together?"
Yeah,
And we just started talking about it. There wasn't on my end, there wasn't much inspiration. I don't know about David's end. That'd be a question for him.
yeah,
But
fair.
I was just in it to be in it, just to give it a shot, see if I liked it, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, no, that's fair, man. It's interesting where you can find passion, you know. So when you're just balling out, doing things, chilling with your mates and stuff, and just here we go. Next second, it's become it's taken over your life. Was the next
Yeah,
album was the next album Jive Highs or was it The Void Volume Two? I'm just a bit confused on the timeline there.
so it started with the Void Volume One, and then I think like 2 months later we released the Void Volume Two,
Ah,
and then it was Jivey Highs, or as you call it, Jive Highs.
I always read it as Jive Highs. I just remembered you said
That's
Jivey.
yeah, that's what the accent on the East for. It was supposed to be fancy.
Ah. Ah.
Guess we should have added the Y.
Jivey Highs, guys. I've been saying it wrong all this time. I'm like, man, this Jive High stuff, you know.
It makes more sense when you say Jivey, huh?
Yeah, it does. Sounds better, actually.
Yeah, that was the accent on the E. That's where that came from.
Ah, fair
It's
enough.
like that. Yeah, but no,
So you had the Void Volume 2, that was your next release. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And
correct.
that's got some vast improvements. Comparing it to your first works, you're starting to learn your makes. I guess you're knowing what to do more. So, especially with
Yeah,
production. Yeah, really
when we
cool.
the more we learned about the app, yeah,
Yeah, and like I guess that's a thing when you're looking over it. The more you use an app and figure things out, the more open you can do things. You can change it all up, eh? What did you find, I guess, when you were comparing this album to the Void 2? What did you say would be easier?
All right, which album are you talking about?
Sorry, Void 1 to Void 2. Like, did you find it an easier transition because obviously you'd use the app a bit more and all that jazz?
Um, well, between Volume One and Volume Two, we did a lot of we did a lot of messing around with things within our system, like
Yeah.
the thing that we were using,
Okay.
and as like compared to what we know now, if we knew now what we knew then, I think we would have started off a lot better, and we would be better even now. But every every good end has a rough beginning.
Yes. Very true. I mean, everyone that starts, like, you're going to have demos. You're going to have these rough cuts and stuff like that. It's very rare that a band that has this, debut album that everyone points to, they forget the parts behind that, when it comes to these
Yeah,
things. And
that's why if you look at our channel, you can notice by the views all of our old stuff doesn't really get looked at like the newer stuff.
yeah,
And to answer your question about the difference between album one and album two and the makings, we learned a lot more of the like technological parts of it and learned how to explore the app more. So it was a lot easier to make the second album with more knowledge of how to use what we were using, the app that we used.
no, fair enough there. I mean, and then you've gone on to from volume two. You've tried to do Jivey Highs. Is that right? That's the next movement in the band's history.
Yeah, we try to explore in different genres. You can notice that with every single album that we ever put out.
Mm.
And Javi Highs, me and him, the story behind that one, I believe we've discussed it before, was I finally had gotten David interested into older music,
Okay.
and he was like, you know what, let's try jazz. Let's dip our toes in jazz. And we did our best. We didn't really do a whole lot of studying behind it, so that's where you get that electric jazz, that new jazz
Yeah.
feel from.
Jazz is an
We
extremely
didn't.
nuanced genre, and I mean, you guys,
Yeah. So
sorry,
now you go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, it's a very nuanced genre. Even people who have been spent their entire lives like doing it would still be. Yeah, you can spend an entire
Yeah,
lifetime in jazz and still be wrong doing it. It's I don't know. It's complex. It's a complex beast. Very.
yeah. But then you got those artists like Neil Armstrong who just absolutely destroy jazz, like just blow it out of the water. But
Mm,
after you reviewed the album, it kind of struck us a little hard. We were like, man, he makes a good point, pointing out all these little details that just add up.
mm.
And we are like, yeah, jazz is definitely not our strong suit. And I was like, man, I'm glad all we did was a little EP, not a whole album.
Yeah, like
But we did we listened to the your camera cut out.
oh, sorry. Am I still here with you?
Oh yeah, you're still there. Your camera just cut out.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I'm still here on my side, but I can hear you still good. So continue if you can't see me.
Oh, there it goes.
Ah, technical
Um,
difficulties, people. If it was live listener race, it would be nothing but that.
yeah, but no, we looked at your review and we studied it and we listened to everything you had to say, and it definitely helped a lot in futures of 1137 having some true, honest outside opinions that wasn't ours. Because I try to be tough on us. Like if we make something, I try to push us. I'll be like, no, that's just that doesn't really sound good. If we can do better, and
Mm,
then we do. Like the the amount of demos that we have gone through is like 200 demos plus that we have created and
wow.
scrapped hours and hours of making music that will never be seen to the public eye.
And
Just learning.
mm, just learning your craft. And a lot of people who, aren't musicians, they tend to overlook this when they get this album drop. There's 40 minutes sometimes or whatever album. They forget how many hours goes behind it. What is dead recordings essentially? You know.
Yeah, you have a 2 minute and 30 second song,
Mm,
and you'd be surprised by how long it takes to make 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that.
yeah.
Some songs it may take us an hour, maybe 2 hours, if we're lucky, if it just feels right and we get into the vibe of it.
Mm,
Some songs that I have worked on personally have taken me over 5 hours of studio time just working on one song.
yeah. Yeah.
It it varies a lot. And then, like, I have this demo that David really loves. He's not to give too much information, but he's working on something that he may or may not release. But he asked my permission to use the song because he loved it so much. I created this song that I'm not giving too much detail, but I created this song just experimenting with different sounds and stuff.
Mm,
And it only took me 10 minutes to make, and he loves it. It's a 5 minute song, and he loved it so much he wants me to try to make more of it.
perfect. Perfect. It's good when it comes together like that. You know. It's
Hmm.
just lucky if you get those moments, when it comes to music. Extremely rare people. I mean, like a 5 minute review for me takes 5 hours of editing and research and everything like that. But
Yeah,
that's
I feel that.
that's life, people. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. We move along
Yeah,
because,
you.
like, the void was, it was something like I'm trying to think of the words here, but the void was following a progressive story, wasn't it? Because with the third, you came up with the
So,
third one.
yeah, it was originally supposed to be a trilogy, and as y'all all know, if y'all keep up with the 1137 channel,
As
we
much as
recently
as much as I can.
we recently announced a release of a fourth installment to the volumes, to the Void volume.
Ah.
And originally, like, it was just an idea when we first started out, back to the very first, like, days of making music and everything.
Mm.
It originally started out as, to me, it was more of a joke. I didn't really take it serious. It was just something to do for fun.
Okay.
But after the first volume, and even though it's a small amount of views, I think Midnight Caller got like 200 views, or
Yeah.
like, no, it was like 100 views or something, like within the week. And that was like, man, that was fun.
Yeah.
I really liked it. And then the story, the storyline is, we put so much thought into the storyline that it's sad because a lot of people just overlook the story unless you read the descriptions and everything.
Mm.
But each each volume has its own story. Like the Void, for example, it's just a group of people who are trapped in this abyss of nothingness
Mm.
till the volume two, which is the dawn. They see some light and they start rebuilding, and then that's when you get volume three, Rebirth, because now they've been to the dawn. They've started creating civilizations and building on. And then volume four, just from the name Fallout, you can kind of guess what that story is about.
Yeah.
But the stories behind everything is really what people don't really understand. It would add a lot more of your, what's the word? Um, Man, I'm at a blank for the word right now, but
It's
your
alright.
enjoyment, basically.
Yeah. No. No.
But
I
like,
get you.
close enough, yeah. Your enjoyment of the album would like be so much better if you read the descriptions and actually understood the story.
Yeah.
I got a little carried away in that answer, but
I I get what you mean. It can be frustrating being an artist, having a story, putting your heart and soul into something, and people might look at it and go, "Oh, I love that beat," and then go, "Oh, but there was a bit more to it than that." It's a bit of a nuanced beast, beast with two backs, if you will. You know, there's a lot that you want listeners to do, but you can't control your listeners, you know. And I guess you would know firsthand from that part. But here we are
Yeah,
with the.
David knows better than me. I promise you that.
It's all good. It's all good. But there are some interesting stories when you go through their stuff. You got to check that one out as well. The Void series in general is just wow. But outside of that, you also went and did some other works outside of the Void. The first one I think was Earth, Heaven, or Hell, wasn't it?
No, the first one was Jivey High's the EP. That was our first works outside of the Void trilogy, or no longer a trilogy, but what used to be the Void trilogy, the Void series
Void
now.
series. Hey, that's got a better ring to it. I like it.
I mean, it's more of a series than a trilogy now because trilogy is three. Now it's four,
That's true.
and we're not even we're not even certain that it's going to end at four. That's still in the questions between me and him. We don't know the future. But no, our first work outside of the Void
Hmm.
series, so to call it now, was the EP with Jive Highs. I think our second work was Earth, Heaven, or Hell.
Yes. Yeah. It was a weird. I remember you emailed me or something. You messaged me. I think Earth, Heaven, or Hell coming out, and there was this picture, and it's just this blank. It's such a weird album cover. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry. It's like this vast room. I'm looking at it offset here of nothingness going on, and it's like, I remember you sent me that, and I'm like, whoa, yeah, this is gonna be
It's like
interesting.
it's supposed to convey like the afterlife, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's like you would think it's nothingness because you can't really determine what it is. So
that's fair. That's
it's
deep.
kind of it, I mean I think David put a lot of more thought into it. That's just my best description of it that I can think of because I thought about it for a while. It actually I think I almost denied the album cover because it was too bland.
Oh, you've been so. I guess
But
it can be easy to brush it off, I suppose. But I mean, I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, fuck, man. Not everyone's up for art, but it does have a lot of meaning behind it. You know, I I can understand what you mean though. I can understand what you mean. It was a really good album as well.
yeah,
That one. That was like, and again, you're just showing these elements where you're improving on your arts, improving on your skills on this one, and it just shows. You
you
know.
know, Earth, Heaven, and Hell kind of crushed me and David a little bit because we were expecting a lot more of a result from it. But I think we determined that the issue was the length of the songs because people just don't really get into 5 minute songs, 4 minute songs as much as they would like a minute, 30, 2 minutes.
No, that's a fair assumption, I suppose. Especially, I guess, given like your field, because for people who are watching and aren't aware of 1137, would I be right in saying it's kind of lo-fi beats? It's kind. I mean, it's a mixture of many genres, but lo-fi is certainly one of the many elements. I mean, you've obviously got hip hop influences. You've also got rock influences, which will come into play a bit later on, and of course, there's some more influences later on down the tracks. But up until about the Earth, Heaven, or Hell point, and disregarding Jivey Highs for a moment, most of it's kind of like that hip hop, lo fi kind of beat sounds. And when you're going
Yeah,
into that area, yes, like I guess longer songs aren't for everyone, I suppose. Yeah, like it seems to be like the average length of a song around that genre is like 3 minutes max.
I think that's what we determined too. I think we were like from here on out, the longest we'll make a song is like 3 minutes 30 at most. I would prefer three, but if we have to, 3:30 at most, no more than that. And then, but yeah, we did a lot of thinking after the release of Earth, Heaven, or Hell. It kind of set us back a little bit because I mean the production of it is great. It's just the
Mm.
length of the songs, and we did a lot of thinking about that. We determined that like it's not our strong suit doing long songs. They don't do as good. Maybe sometime in the future for like an EP, we'll do another long track like that
Okay.
with like 5 minute songs. But we, as far as we know now, we're not doing long songs like that again because the outcome of it just wasn't worth the work put into it.
Okay. That's a shame that it turned out rather disappointing in your eyes there. I mean, I thought there was really good
Well,
tracks on that, but
to,
yeah.
to David, I'm the glass half empty guy with 1137. I look at all the negatives before I look at the positives.
Yeah, okay. No, I know that feeling. You're looking at this thing just going like, oh man, we could do it better though.
Yeah, like
Sorry, Dave's like, oh, we could do it better. We'll do it.
yeah, like what threw me off. I don't know if you've looked at our channel in like the last few days, but what threw me off and kind of irritates me is our most popular video right now is the 40-second video trailer of our new album, and it's got 1.1 thousand views on it.
Wow. Okay.
And it irritates me so much because it's a trailer video. It's not even
Oh,
music.
I think
And I
oh,
mean, I'm glad that it's getting some views and stuff, which hopefully will bring in traffic for whenever we release the album. But it's just the fact that it's not a song that's blowing up and it's a
yeah.
trailer for an album.
Hopefully,
That's what really gets me. But
hopefully it builds hype for you guys
I'm not
though.
complaining.
Yeah, true. I mean, hopefully it just builds up some hype. That's 1,000 more views, from a video. People go, oh, hello, this might be something I'll be interested. I'll click onto here, check out the channel, and that's what you got to look at, mate.
We did. I think we gained about like 10 plus subscribers from that trailer because we
Nice,
had like 60. We gained 15 because we had 60 subscribers and now we have like 75 or so.
nice, very good. Damn. That's A plus for effort, man. I know all about
So
that side of things, and like it can be very frustrating when you put all
it's
this effort
refreshing.
into it, and then you're like, man, that thing did not do as well as I thought it would. Trust me,
Yeah.
man.
The trailer was very refreshing. I promise you, it wasn't too irritating. It was more of a breath of fresh air than anything because
Perfect.
it just kind of was like that just means that our fan base is growing.
Yes.
We're getting more popular. Our hard work will start getting recognized more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's perfect. Like that's it. It's showing. It's all in the numbers, man. Trust me. Snowball effect starts off small, gets big, large. Don't worry. It'll get there, man. Now we move on to, I guess,
Yeah.
the last album before we discuss the new project, people. And that was Sounds of Acceptance. For people who aren't aware, we, around about the time of this album's release, just before, we actually did try to tee up an interview which I completely stuffed up and didn't record properly. And that's on me. But we had a lovely chat, and I remember you were talking this album. You were extremely eager. You even flicked me one of the demos for one of the tracks, which I believe was Soul. I think it might have been Soul or
Soul.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah, it was Soul. That's what we sent you.
I just all I could remember was thinking like, okay, these guys, they're getting into they're getting in the full swing. They're eager to play some tracks. This album's not out for another, I think it was a month off, and I'm listening to it, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm just listening to it going, oh my god, oh my god, this is,
I remember we were on the call with you, but I just realized that I got my albums confused a second ago. I was saying that Earth, Heaven, or Hell was long. Oh, I got that confused with Sounds of Acceptance.
oh
That's what it
okay,
was.
okay, gotcha.
David, David, I know you're gonna watch this video. My apologies. I'm sorry, man. I get confused sometimes.
He's gonna be like in the comment
He's
section,
gonna
just
be,
be like, oh my god, dude.
come on, Logan. I know you're better than that.
Cut us some slack, dude. It's like
But
midnight
yeah,
where it
no.
is at the moment. It's all right. But you guys, yeah,
I mean, I that
that album hit hard. I I just don't even know what to say. Like, you guys were eager for it, and I'm like, all right, new album's gonna come out. It's gonna be, I'll check this out for sure. But I was, to say, blown away. Obviously, you've seen my review on it. People, if you haven't, I've got a review on it. I'll put a link up here if I remember. But from what I've said, and I've said it before in the interview, you guys have obviously matured, you've grown, you've learned to understand the program. This was on a new level, wasn't it? You guys just took it to such a new zenith.
we learned a lot of things between the release of the last album and Sounds of Acceptance. We learned a lot. You can tell from things are going from one ear to another.
Mm.
I can't think of what it's called at the moment. It's like,
It wasn't. Yeah, I remember you
but
told
you
me
can
3D audio or something.
it's something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
panning. That's what it's called, panning.
panning.
But we learned how to do panning and all this other cool stuff. We learned how to make sounds like kind of really almost sound underground. We learned so many new things, and it really shows in Sounds of Acceptance. Like so much experimental stuff, all the stuff that we're getting better at. Like you can hear all the new things that we learned in that album.
Yeah, it's it's massive. It's a massive evolution in your sound, I guess you could say. Looking over it.
Yeah, it was also a massive project. I think we worked on it for like the better part of a year.
Wow, that's just crazy, man. But it shows. It really does. You put some time into a record, and you can tell. You can just tell. Comparing once again, comparing obviously to Void 1 and 2. You go back to listen to it. Obviously, once again, we're talking about demo days, but you have moved up to this level, and well, it's more like this way, isn't it now? And it is such a great album. And bonus fact to people who are watching this and haven't heard 1137, I actually made a guest appearance, and I didn't know until the album dropped. So thank you guys for allowing me to be on an album that I didn't know I was part of until it came out.
Yeah, that was all David. That was like a little gift present from him, a little gift from him to say thank you because
Oh
you've helped
man.
us out a little bit. I think you've helped us get a few fans and you've helped us get the word out. And it's nice having a third outside opinion, somebody who's just not scared to be honest with us.
Mm, mm,
Because I believe that a lot of people who know about 1137 from the outside looking in, they don't want to hurt our feelings, so they're going to be nice, even if it's like the worst song ever. They're going to be like, yeah, that sounds good, even if it sounds like garbage. So
yeah.
it's good having that outside perspective as well. It helps push us to do better.
Oh, it does. Like, you can only grow as much as like your critics can give you advice, I suppose. I don't want to sound like someone is super harsh. Trust me, when you start growing, like everyone's going to be a critic, and you're like, oh god, some people should just shut up.
See, that's the thing though. I like critics. I like people who have something bad to say because that just means, you know what? I'll show you next album. I'll prove you wrong. I'm gonna show you that we are better than that.
Mm,
I like the critics because they're a really good way to push you to do better.
okay, that's interesting to say. Like, it's a good takeaway, I suppose, and a really good transition to work into your new album that's coming out. We have the news, of course, people. If you ever checked 1137's channel, make sure to do so. But you have been working, you've been busy these last couple of months, and you've recorded a new project. Care to elaborate the name of the project?
So, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, the name of our fourth installment to the Void series, now that we're gonna call it, is called Fallout, and the basics of it is everything that's been worked on from volume 1 through 3 basically falls apart. That's just a basic story, not giving too much detail, but that's just the fundamentals of it.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, even the album cover work, it's vastly different, obviously. You know, you're looking at this explosion thing going on, and you're looking at, like, the other ones, which are, well, not that. You know, there's a fair bit different going involved in that one. Um,
We tried to incorporate a little bit of all three album covers in it to the best of our abilities, but I was more leaning towards destruction. Just name based off of the name, just destruction. That's what I was kind of going for, and nukes and some inspiration may have came from the game,
yeah,
just a
buddy.
little bit. But
Hey, if it
no,
works, it
it was
works.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure.
Like, okay, and you're not going to obviously. I don't want you to spoil too much when it comes to this album. Obviously, I want you guys to drop this. I'll try to get this review out a couple of days before it drops. When does it drop? It? Sorry, I forgot to ask. Is it like the? It's only
Oh
next
man,
week or something, isn't it? The 12th.
I believe I believe so. I think he's dropping it next Friday. I believe that's when he's releasing it. Because I still got some work to do. Got
Perfect.
some notes to take.
Ah, there we
Because we
go.
got to do some touch ups and stuff. But I've been
Ah,
meaning to get to that. It's just been busy,
no.
work life and all that.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel
The usual.
it. The usual getting in the way, people. Come on, man. We're musicians. We want to be bigger musicians. We're gonna get there. Don't worry, guys. It'll be a full-time job for us
One day,
one day, people.
one day.
But
It's gonna be even harder when I'm juggling college too. But we'll
ooh.
we'll we'll, we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Hey, you'll come across it at the time, man. Don't stress. Don't stress about it. As it and how have you? So we've obviously been talking this whole episode about your evolution. It's moving along. You've progressed. And sorry, I forgot to say that Sounds of Acceptance, people, was a bit more rock infused compared to the earlier styles of like lo-fi and hip hop beats almost. So yeah, Sounds of Acceptance was a much more rock orientated sound. Did you guys change it up a little bit for the Fallout version?
We did. We're experimenting with a new genre, of course, as usual. Um,
Mm.
a new way of creating beats, and we're trying to do. We're gonna try for every single song that we make from here on out to add vocals because we've noticed that a lot of our vocal songs do stronger.
Okay.
And so basically, the genre for this album is going to be rap, like
Hey.
heavy rock and rap.
Gonna have
So
that
it's kind
rock
of
rock combo. Yeah, right.
it's a little bit of a combination. It's we got a lot of underground artists on it, and
Mm.
it was a fun project, that's for sure. I think we did like half the album in like 5 days
Wow.
because like we have it's 13 tracks, and for the first 5 nights, that's what we did because we were so happy once the release of once Sounds of Acceptance released. I called David up. I was like, all right, when we're working on the next album, he goes, dang, dude, this one just released. I was like, dude, I'm feeling it. So for like the first 5 or 6 nights, we were working on songs, and we finished a song every night.
Wow.
And of course, we go back and we work on it, but
Yeah.
we did like 5 or 6 songs in 6 days.
What? That's nuts, man.
So we yeah we went back and did some touch up on it, but I think we spent like 4-ish hours on each song, so it wasn't like rushed.
Yeah. Just like
But at
laying the
the same time,
groundwork
it
or
was
something.
something like that. It gave us an idea of the direction of the album, what we were gonna do, how we were gonna do it,
Mm.
all the basics of creating a storyline within an album.
Okay. Getting it all written up and stuff. I love it, man. It's dope. I'm just looking at this album cover. I'm excited for it. Obviously, you've dropped the trailer on your channel, discussing that it's going to be coming out soon as well. and it seems to be gathering a bit of fans as well regarding that part. You guys excited for the album when it drops?
Oh, I'm stoked. I'm ready to see what happens. Me and David are thinking it's definitely going to be. We say this every time. Every time we release an album, it's going to be our best album yet. Every time we work on an album, we start out the gates. Yeah, this is going to be our best album yet.
Man.
After the first two songs are made, we're like, yep, this one's it.
Hell yeah, that's the perfect like vision for your albums. If you're going into a project and you don't have that vision, like, is it going to turn out that well? Oh, I don't know. That's great
I mean,
optimism, man.
You don't ever go into creating an album thinking, man, I don't know if it's going to be the last one. You gotta go in with being. This is the only time that I don't look at the half glass empty side of it. I'm like every time we start a new album, I'm like, yeah, we got to do better than the last album.
No.
100%. We gotta do better.
Yeah, okay.
And you can ask David. He can vouch. I will be brutally honest with, and even it's very well known that I do not like most of the songs that I make.
Mm.
But most of the songs that I make are highly liked, and I don't know. There's not a whole lot of songs that I've made that I actually like. I couldn't even really name any right now that I could think of that I really like.
Ooh, okay.
I'm very hard on myself. I'm very hard on myself when it comes to making music, and David, he knows, he understands the pain.
Okay.
He'll come with me with something new. He'll spend like 2 hours on it, and I'll be like, it doesn't sound that good. He'll be like, oh, I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
Oh man, but sometimes like
And then I feel bad because I feel bad because then he'll like scrap it and work on a whole nother thing. I'm like, you didn't have to scrap it, but
yeah,
I mean,
it's one of those things though, you know, like damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation. I don't know, man. It's a tough situation to be in, man. It's a tough one. So it sounds like from most of this, like the record went fairly smooth sailing. Sorry, went very fast, I should say, compared to your previous one there. Like you guys just nailed it.
we just put our heads down and just freaking powerhoused it for like the first half of the album, and then the rest of it we kind of just drug our feet a little bit because our biggest thing with this album was no deadline. No deadline. If we put a deadline, we start rushing. Things don't sound right.
Yeah.
You can hear that from a couple of the tracks and the Sounds of Acceptance. You can hear that in a couple of the tracks that it was rushed because we were hitting that deadline because Sounds of Acceptance was meant to fall. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Sounds of Acceptance was to fall on National Acceptance of Day. So acceptance of anything.
Yeah.
And that was the date that we set. And it just created a whole deadline thing. And that's really what hurt us. So from the last album, we've also learned no more deadlines. We just work until we finish it. And we work a lot better without that cloud of the time's coming up. You need to hurry up and finish. You need to like until we know for sure that we're ready to release the album.
Yeah.
We don't announce a release date.
Okay. Well, it's probably better along.
Like,
it's like no stress situation.
It worked a lot better for this album.
Mm.
Yeah, like work at your own pace, but it still gets done.
Yeah.
And like right now, we're just reviewing the album right now, doing a little bit of touch ups. It's not really the way the album is right now is good, but it can always be better.
Always.
And if we were to release it the way it is right now, it'd still do good. So we're just trying to do a few touch ups here and something there. Just try to make it a little smoother, more easier to listen to, kind of what David calls ear candy. Kind of draws the listener's attention more.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's what he refers it to, like sound effects, SFX.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Adding those, you can hear it in the like from the trailer is actually a little snippet of one of the songs that is going to be in the album.
Yeah.
and it draws your attention because of the sound effects that's in the trailer.
Yeah, okay. And that's like just all
But
part of it, I guess. It's all a part of the 1137 experience. Getting that ear candy.
that's a oh yeah, that's a the 1137 experience. I like that.
Hell yeah. I'm down with
Music like music like you music like you've never heard before.
it. Yeah. Especially when it comes to it, man. Experience Fallout with the 1137 experience, like never before. I like it, man. This is
I
like
think
it's intriguing.
I narrated a trailer a while back. I think it was for Drivey Highs. If you pull up the trailer for Drivey Highs, I'm narrating the trailer,
Mm.
and I was selling it so hard. I was like, "Experience nothing like you've ever heard before from 1137.
Oh man,
Music like you've never heard." You can
I
go listen to it. You'll see what I was doing. I was like just drawing your attention, building up that hype, and then it was just jazz. Like you're expecting something, and then it's just jazz, and you're like, man, I thought it was gonna be like some rock, some hip hop, some death metal or something like that. No, it's jazz.
At least you didn't put like those like
Well,
irritating air horns. Bow bow bow, jivey highs.
I don't think he did much editing to it either, though.
Hmm.
Not that
No.
I can think of. It was more of just my voice, and I forget what I was doing, but I pulled up our app, and I was like, you know what? Let me just see if I could create a good trailer, and I sent it to David, and that's what he used. So I mean,
No, that's perfect, man.
what
Okay.
works works.
Hey, if it works, don't mess with it too much. So, guys,
I think it did pretty good. I think
yeah.
so. You good?
No, I was just thinking like, I think you're good with that. You don't need to build it up too much. And I saw your trailer. Like it was a good trailer for I'm talking about Fallout. Sorry, the Fallout trailer. I can't remember the Jivey Highs one. I loosely remember. I think watching it when I was reviewing your episode. Um, I can't recall it off the top of my head. Sorry, but the Fallout one is top notch. Like very good
Yeah,
work.
David. David says it looks like something from like a movie, like it'd be a movie trailer almost.
You just need that movie
And
trailer guy.
that's kind of that's kind of what we were going for too. Just a little bit of like he showed me the first makings of it, and I fell in love with it. I was trying to feed him some ideas, and like whenever like in the trailer where you see the number 4 pop up and then the letters fall in,
Mm, mm.
we couldn't we couldn't do exactly what we wanted to, but that was very similar. The original idea was the 4 was going to pop up, and then the letters were going to like fall in like bricks one at a time.
Oh.
So it was going to spell out Fallout. And it was
Oh.
going to be like, but we couldn't do that. We couldn't get the editing to do that. So,
It always sucks when
but
that
it still
happens.
ended up, yeah, we couldn't figure it out. But the way it is now, it came out pretty good.
I,
Kudos to David. He gets like 90% of the credit for that one. I just kind of gave him ideas. He's the one who created it and edited it and everything. That's the hard part. I just gave him ideas.
fair enough, man. Like, it's still a cool trailer though. The way you've edited it, or sorry, David has edited it, I should say, is very. It's still very good. It's still an awesome trailer. Like I remember watching. I'm like, damn, these guys are. You're building up here, and it's like next level shit. But guys, the album is dropping 12th of May, everyone. And I really do urge you guys, if you're watching this right now, to go over to 1137's channel and make sure to subscribe to them and check out their stuff. You know,
That's not the numbers 1137. You actually have to spell it out. Just a heads up to anybody who's trying to find our channel. It's not 1137. It's 11 space 30 space 7. It's I
oh,
think what's
we'll try to spell it out.
extended form. I think it's called.
Yeah, it's all like spelled
Yeah, I think
out.
it's called extended form.
The old extended form,
I
eh?
don't know. I think that's the mathematical term for it.
Ah.
But I don't know why. I don't even know why we labeled it like that. I couldn't tell you what David might be able to, but I forget why he set it up like that. It was kind of unique,
Mm.
though.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll have it in the description below people as well, so you can click on the channel. I mean, I can have some ideas why he may have done it. Maybe 1137 was taken by another YouTuber. Who knows? But maybe there was just some creative ideas behind that one too. What does David next time?
Oh, only yeah, only David knows the answer behind that one. The mind of David O'Banion.
David Abenya, man.
Just pick his brain.
Yeah, well, to get him on the channel next time. Well, Logan, thank you very
Yeah, pick
much.
his brain a little bit.
Yeah, definitely will. Well, Logan, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Live Listen Erased. Is there anything that you would like to add before we close out this interview?
Just stay tuned for our best album yet. 100%. Um, send Lex a love and show Chiller some love too. He needs it.
Thank you. Alright, people. Make sure you have a great day. Do the socials, like this video, do all the other stuff, and subscribe if you can. Also, stay spicy. And if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chili Con Carnage crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listen Erase, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.
I knew it was coming.